You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
We're live.
I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time for Happy Hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, and stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matthew Fox.
And we are here to help you with your pets.
Are we?
No. So when we record the Man Cave Happy Hour, we usually do, sometimes we do a couple.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's easier to tell which is the second episode.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Zero clue.
We were in Mexico recently.
Yes.
Not physically.
Vicariously,
Vicariously through the glass.
Yes.
We're moving someplace different this time. I got this shirt. It was total coincidence, because we had no
yeah,
idea
wow,
what
look at that.
Read my shirt, Matthew.
It says, the problem with some people is that when they aren't drunk, they're sober.
William Butler Yeats. It's Irish writer.
So we're doing another Man Cave.
Yes.
Another Just the Taste.
Just a taste on the Man Cave Happy Hour.
And so we're going somewhere in the same vicinity, but across the pond.
We're heading to the island.
Yes.
We're heading to the island.
Across the pond.
So for Just a Taste, the clue, if you're watching the Facebook video or if you're watching the video, the clue's on the table. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
How much?
I wonder how many people went, where's the clue?
Would you? Yeah. How much would you spend on a bottle of whiskey?
Personally?
Whiskey with no E in it, which means whiskey with no E in it. Where's it coming from?
It's coming from Ireland, I believe.
No.
No?
No.
Oh, it's coming from the U.S.
Scotland. No, Scotland is the whiskey with no E. U.S. and Ireland have the E in it. Scotland and Scotland doesn't. So,
See, when
the
you
most
drink, you get
expensive
smarter,
bottle of whiskey sold for how much? Just as recently as last October 2018.
Most expensive bottle of whiskey in Scotland?
Sold.
Or just
most expensive bottle of whiskey sold in October of 2018 for how much?
2018, I would say.
I don't know if there's been one since, but this was a pricey one just recently.
$3.2 million.
3.2 million?
Yeah.
It's 1.1 million.
So I'm way off.
Yeah. You are, can I sell you a bottle of whiskey?
If it's good.
I will give you a hell of a deal. It'll be way less than 3.3 million.
Is there a sombrero on it?
Is there? Yeah. Is there? Ooh. All right. But yeah, so back in the 80s, Italian artist named Valerio Adami designed and signed a label on 12 bottles of Macallan 1926. Today, those bottles are worth more than just a pretty penny. They're worth $1.1 million, to be exact. The bottle was put up for auction by Brome's in Edinburgh, Scotland, setting the world record for the most valuable bottle of whiskey ever sold, according to the press release. In spite of the record-breaking achievement, the unnamed buyer couldn't be bothered to show up. The private collector called in the winning bid by phone. He texted it in. No, but he called it. It was a phone bid. So distilled in 1926. So this batch of Macallan was distilled in 1926 and kept in cask until his bottling in 1986.
Wow.
Only 24 bottles were ever produced, and no one is sure how many of the bottles still exist. The reason for the insane value isn't necessarily the whiskey inside, but the collector value of the labels. Adami, the artist who made these labels and then signed them, was commissioned for 12. The other dozen were designed by a British artist that nobody gave a shit about. No, I'm kidding. Peter Blake. But no, Peter Blake, what's he famous for?
Peter Blake. Why is it that rings a really large bell with me? Peter Blake. It's not Balake. It's Peter Blake. Yeah. All right, help me out here.
John, Paul, George, and Ringo.
Oh, Peter
Blake.
Peter Blake was one of the producers, or
he created the album cover for Sgt. Pepper's.
Really?
Yes. So Peter Blake, he he co-created the album cover for Sgt. Pepper's.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he made the other 12 bottles, but this Adami guy, his are the really sought after labels. According the record may not last long, though. Sotheby's is set to auction off one of the Peter Blake signed bottles coming up soon. It may push more than that. So, but still over $1 million, $1.1 million, $1.2 million, $1.5 million. That's nuts for a bottle of booze.
From 1926, that sat in a cask until
what's the most you would pay?
1986?
What's the most you would pay for a bottle? Going to the store, Matt. What would you pay?
What
would you pay?
Based on my budget and kids in college,
Yeah,
not as much as one would think, but I would treat myself. We always talk about kill, marry, or screw.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Are you taking it
And
home, or you doing it out, or you're never going to do it?
So if
again?
I'm going to marry something, I would actually come to about at least a 62, 120 price point.
Yeah. I'm
that's kind of middle of the
too.
road. Middle of the road up to 120 is about the max I would go.
I'm like, it's that $99.99. You're breaking that $100 mark, and it's like I'm hard pressed to justify it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many great bourbons and so many great spirits out there to try and taste and have fun with. To spend that much money on one bottle, when you could do a shot someplace, or maybe have a generous friend.
And on the
that would
flip
share.
side, celebratory things. You want to spend a couple extra bucks for something celebratory. So that's when you hit that $100 mark there. You're not going to hit it every single time, but you're going to savor it, and it might last you 7, 8, 9 months.
Right.
But you're not going to get through it in a month. Right?
Right.
Unless you're spending $40, $50.
Well, I got a couple bottles. I just celebrated my 53rd birthday. I'm not
happy
Jewish,
birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of bottles in the shelf that I received for my 50th birthday.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Really?
And I haven't finished it off. I didn't open one until quite some time after, and I still have yet another that I have yet to open.
Really?
And Colleen like, what are you doing? Bring another bottle in, and I'm like, well, I got this one for free. Or we were trying this one. Like we just did some tequila, and I brought it. She's like, are you sneaking bottles in this house? I'm like, absolutely. Matt and I are recording tonight. She's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
But we're recording at the Casa de Flanagan. We're on the
your
deck.
we're at your man cave.
Yeah, my man cave is my deck.
Yeah.
So
He's got a big deck.
how do you guys like my deck?
A DECK.
That is what I said.
Yes.
But opening up a bottle, right? You get one of those bottles, you open it up and you don't finish it. How long does a bottle of whiskey keep once it's open?
Great question. I would say, because of the ethanol and, the alcohol itself, I would say it probably is good for at least 4 or 5 months.
So people think like, oh, so is spirits, right? It won't spoil. It's right.
Everything has an expiration date, even red herring, for God's sakes. So,
in practice, a bottle of whiskey doesn't last forever, right? So especially, because it's really, you crack that puppy open, it joins the endangered species list then and there.
Yeah.
So
I have to finish it now.
But once it's open, a lot of things impact it, right? Because you open it up, and because this guy, what we have today, I bought probably, I think I've had this for about 3, 4, 5 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's just been kicking, waiting for us to do just a taste with it, for finding a time to do it, either here or there or somewhere. But once it's open, there are a lot of factors that come into play. So exposure to light, air. So once it's open, light, air, temperature fluctuations can change the flavor. So initially, that could be a good thing, right? It's because you wine, let it breathe. Right, and sometimes you pour this in the glass and you kind of let it breathe, right?
You have to.
You're not going to let it.
To.
Just it gets it. So it's a good thing at first. Tasting it right away, not always particularly. You might not enjoy the contents every time. So
wow.
Coming back a month later, it may have changed a little bit. So
what do you think? What does it say at the?
All right. So what is the long-term prognosis for opening up a bottle of whiskey? Eventually, open bottles of whiskey will oxidize, losing some of the fragrance and flavors. Some bottles say they should be finished within 1 to 2 years.
1 to 2
of
years
opening. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So while others say up to 5 years. It's all right as long as you follow these recommendations. Limit light, right?
So I was way off.
Keep it in a. Don't feed them after midnight.
Keep them in a dark space.
Keep them in a dark space.
So you keep your stash, in a very dark area.
Yes.
You keep it in
my heart.
I go through my I go through my stuff pretty quickly, so I actually keep it somewhat elevated.
Right.
Where it's not as if it's closer to the floor, it's going to be kind of cooler. Where I keep mine, it's a little bit higher, so a little more heat is involved in that regard. So that we might have the same bottle of whiskey, but it might have very different taste notes if we open it at the same time.
Limiting the light helps, right? Some people they got these magnificent bars and they have all their bottles splayed out. But if you have a lot of windows in that room, you're not doing your whiskey any favor, especially if you crack that bottle.
Huh.
So it might be beautiful enough to display it out in the open, but it will last longer if you keep it behind a cabinet door. Many whiskeys are packaged in dark glass bottles for this exact reason, and the bottle we're drinking tonight is in a dark green bottle, reminiscent of a beer green bottle glass.
Yes.
All right, so but they're kept in dark bottles for that reason. If it came in a canister or a box, that adds another. A lot of times you have the canisters that adds another layer of protection from
of light.
the sun.
Okay.
Limit exposure to fluctuations in room temperature. It's okay, but try not to go hotter, right? So you don't keep it in the trunk of your car.
But I keep mine elevated in the room.
Right.
It is what it is.
But it doesn't want to fluctuate. It's the fluctuations that mess it up. Basement root cellars or even bottom shelf in your pantry can be good places to store whiskey. We know the collection is anything but bottom shelf, but keeping it on the bottom shelf might be a good spot for it.
Nice.
Limit oxygen. So if you're trying to keep a bottle around for a long time, consider investing in a vacuum sealer, right? So if you have a lot of bottles and it's a very special bottle and you only want to drink a little bit of it, because if somebody, we're going to have a drink every year on your birthday until this bottle's gone, right?
Right.
So you may want to get a vacuum sealer to reseal the bottle. Restaurants do that to keep wines fresh after opening.
Interesting.
Yep.
I just learned something new on the Man Cave.
It's only a temporary. So yeah. So there's there's several products out there to re-vacuum seal your bottle. Store the bottles upright. Wine should remain in contact with the cork to prevent the cork from drying out, but strong spirits will actually eat away at the cork, imparting off flavors to the spirit and potentially ruining the seal.
You don't want to chew on your spirit.
I picked up 2 really cool decanters.
We had talked about
I mentioned them before, and they're still sitting on the shelf in there, and I'm about to put them up for sale on Facebook. So follow me, James Flanagan, on Facebook. They'll be popping up shortly. One's this a big bear.
Yeah.
And it was an Ezra Brooks.
Okay.
And then the other one was, I think, a wild turkey. But it was like a Democratic National Convention. So it's the Democrats are the donkeys, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was a donkey with a big globe on it. It was a commemorative for a Democratic National. But the bear, the head comes off and the cork underneath it, and the cork fell off and into it. And so it's like I poured out, and it was like about half full of fluid. I was curious what it is, so I poured it out into a measuring cup, 1 to see how much was in there, and 2 to see what it looked like. Yeah. And it was just this
slimy
rust, if you this is a rust bucket of bolts soaking in turpentine, that murky, thick, mucky, rust colored. That was nasty. And then the other one, the donkey one, had a lot of the spirits in it. But
what you got there, Jamie?
This is my boy Percy Cat. People on Facebook can see Percy Cat. The donkey one had a darker tinge to it. But the cork hadn't fallen in. But it's still, there was a bit of oxidation going on. And I mean, these were from the 80s. Both these bottles were from the 80s.
Wow.
I was so excited. I found them at the estate sale, and I was like, but even, for what I paid for them, it was just like a couple of bucks a piece. Nice. But if the juices were any good, I would be like, woo. So I'm gonna sell it.
But
anyway,
as far
so store them upright because the cork isn't a thing. Lastly, most importantly, stop saving that half-full bottle of fancy booze for a special moment. Start making every day more special by drinking that stuff before it starts to elude what made it fancy in the first place. So there you go. So you can keep it for a year or 2. 5 if you're taking care of the oxygen and light. So
see, I typically when I crack something, that's something I'll focus on until it's gone. I don't tend to go around the world in that regard.
I have several open though, and I've got a couple that have been open for some time. So yeah.
So have me over more.
Couple, yeah. And like I said, I'm 53 now, and I got these for my 50th, and it's. But I've been taking my time with it because I enjoy it, and there's so many things in the shelf. I'm like, oh, try this, I'll try this, I'll try this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But our feature for just the taste this evening.
Yeah.
We're gonna kind of go a little bit newer, because this has only been out for a couple of years, to my understanding.
Year
correct?
and a half.
Yeah.
Right? Not even 2. I
Not
don't think
even?
it is
Okay.
even 2. I don't know for sure.
All right,
You're
so
the one with the internet up in front of you.
I'm looking at it.
Paying attention. I'm picking burrs off my cat.
Yeah. But we're actually gonna go with something that's we talked about it before, but we never had it.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah. We've talked about it. It's been sitting on the shelf. I had it in my possession when we talked about it.
We did. You did. And we were at the Detroit Shipping Company when we did that, but. We were talking to Annie when we were talking about the Bushmills.
Right. The Bushmills wrap in Detroit. Right. Annie, yeah,
and
she's fun.
we did the Red Bush then, and you had brought up the Proper 12.
Yeah.
Right? And, that was something that they didn't have with them for that tasting that evening.
Right.
But this is something that you went out and had. You actually had on your person. But so we're going to kind of look at the Proper 12 tonight because this is Conor McGregor, is the MMA fighter.
Not Ewan McGregor?
No, not Ewan McGregor. Not Obi-Wan. No, not Mr. Trainspotting. None of that. We're talking about Conor McGregor, the MMA fighter. He started his own. He came up with his own Irish whiskey.
Okay,
because he's very Irish. From from Ireborn, right? So
yeah. This was actually the second name. He had a launch ready to go, and there was a different name. I forget what it was.
Oh, I can't remember.
But he had a whole different label set, but somebody else had the rights to it, so they changed it, and they changed it to Proper 12. So they went with Proper 12. God,
yeah. The Proper 12.
Can't remember what that was.
Yeah, the name Proper 12 refers to the southwest area where McGregor hails. Actually,
okay.
Where it's Dublin 12.
Okay,
that's where he hails from. So McGregor worked in concert, with master distiller David Elder, who was formerly of Guinness, to decide on the final blend selected from almost 100 different blends. So the selection process to the Proper 12, it took a while. It took a lot of tasting, to get what Conor actually felt was proper.
Okay,
for lack of a better
12.
term. There you go.
There you are.
So it's actually triple distilled.
Okay.
As far as the blend goes, triple distilled blended whiskey from former bourbon barrels.
Ooh, okay.
Right? So we talk a lot about bourbon.
Yeah.
Right? So this is a whiskey, but it's in former bourbon barrels itself.
Well, and it can't be a bourbon because
it's not U.S.
It's not coming from the U.S.
Right. So, but the nice thing about what they do, notably what they do, is that the company, Conor McGregor's company, will donate $5 for every case sold to local first responder organizations and charities up to $1 million annually. So if you do buy a Proper 12, you're actually helping to contribute back.
I love that.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty nice.
So, here's something just totally unrelated.
Yeah.
9/11 first responders related.
Yes.
Actor who was one of my favorite actors.
Nicolas Cage.
Who was was a first responder before he
Dennis
was
Leary,
an actor. Dennis Leary. Not Dennis Leary though.
No. Okay.
Different actor. He's in a lot of Tarantino movie. Is it
Tarantino?
Oh, yeah.
So I
Crazy Eyes.
Oh, I know. Okay, yeah, with Mr. Tooth. Yeah, Mr. Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi.
Yes.
He was a firefighter. He was a firefighter.
He was a New York
firefighter.
An actor. You're absolutely correct.
And when 9/11 happened,
yes,
he went back to his firehouse.
Okay.
And volunteered and helped.
Good for him.
And he was there, and he was going in, and he made several runs in and helping first responders getting people out.
I did not know that.
It didn't publicize it because it's just what those guys do.
Yeah.
right?
Very
And
selfless.
it's like,
Very selfless.
It's amazing. And just so I love that Ewan is and Connor.
And Connor, you said Ewan.
I did. I was in actor mode.
Choose life. Choose a job. Choose a fucking career.
That's it.
Choose a family.
All right. So, but the Connor does that. So this goes some of the proceeds goes to
First responders.
local first responders.
Yes.
They try to funnel it back to the communities where it's being purchased. So that's good.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
Did you know that? Out of curiosity.
No, I did not know that.
So yeah, we're here to educate.
But the Steve Buscemi thing just popped in my head when you were talking about first responders.
Yeah.
I had come across that, recently. I think it was, I don't know if it was his birthday or something. It just popped up on the interweb, one of those clickbait things.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I read it because I like him. I was like, ooh, I got to read that.
Fair enough.
Anyway, all right.
So what the alcohol proof on here?
Yeah, what is it?
It's at 40.
All right, 40. That's
40%.
Yep.
So 80 proof, right?
80 proof. Most you're just That's
That's
standard.
typical. So you're not going to get I don't think you're going to get a heavy burn on this one. You're probably getting something smooth,
Right.
But according to the notes that we've been looking at, you're going to look at somewhat of a fruity type flavor,
Okay.
almost. But I'll tell you
Those
that
are fighting words.
I'm telling you. But
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But just because it's put into an ex-bourbon barrel, in the cask type, doesn't mean you're going to get that heavy ethanol feel to it. So
Okay.
everything is different. So for 100 different types of tastes that they
Yeah.
did to get this,
Yeah.
I'm curious as to where it's going to land for you and I. Because we are novices. That's what the Man Cave Happy Hour is all about.
Right.
Is just tasting things, understanding what potentially we get out of it. But if you have an opinion, share.
Sure.
We want to hear your opinions. Comments, click subscribe, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But we want to know where you feel this should be. So, that's what the Man Cave is all about. Yeah. So we're gonna actually crack this. What do you think?
I just cut the labels.
Did you?
Here we
All
go.
right.
Let's get it up. I try to get the pop. Hang on, we'll get that in the
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
sound effects.
Yes.
That's it. Those are true sound effects.
I love it.
Would
Love
you
it,
care
love
to sniff the Coke?
it. Oh, I'll sniff the bottle.
Sniff the bottle instead.
You know what? Even that. I sniffed that. Let me sniff that cork.
Yeah, the cork's not so much.
No, not so much.
Let's get it in the glass. Get
All
the Glencairn gas.
Look at
glasses
these.
there.
All right, so we were here. Yeah, that was fun. we won't say that. That was a good night. Phenomena. We won't say that.
Where'd you steal these glasses from? Thank you very much, people.
No idea what you're talking about. All right, so Jamie, we poured a neat sample of the proper 12. All right, so it's an 80 proof. It's an 80 proof, 40% alcohol. So it's got a more of a amber look to it. Yeah. No, not. I'm not seeing much legs on it as far as oily goes. There's a little bit of legs on it now that you're twisting it around. So there are a little bit of legs on it. When you sniff it, it doesn't. Yeah,
okay.
It's a very light sniff. It's got a very light nose to it.
Were you saying florals?
Yeah, I was saying fruity, floral. You're going to get a little
fruit.
Yeah.
What fruit am I getting?
You
am I getting
should
peach?
Be.
Does it say peach in there?
Hold on, I'm getting there.
I could eat a peach.
Yeah, there's Nicolas Cage right there. You're gonna get more of a fruity feel to it. I'm not. Everyone's nose is different.
Yeah, right.
So
I don't know if it's peach, kumquat. I don't know what. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying things I think sound dirty. Again, you can tell which is when we do two shows, which is the second one. Yeah.
The fruity feel is there for it, though.
Yeah, I'm not getting much ethanol burn at all on the sniffs.
No. The further your nose goes in, the more of an ethanol you're going to get. But if you're just at the tip
my
of it.
My beak isn't that long, though. What
Did
are you trying to say?
Tip of it?
What are you trying to do? Should I put the whole tip in? What?
Of your nose.
This is totally the second show.
Yeah, so.
This is so totally.
Anyhow, a lot of folks that actually did some taste on this, they actually
I get a little I don't want to call it flower.
Yeah.
Fruit, maybe grape.
No, Zep Grotto, who actually tasted this as well, he said he was getting a sweet vanilla and oak feel. It's kind of a mild to this person. Pretty middle of the road for that individual.
But remember, we tried another Irish one. We did a little Quiet Man.
Yes.
And after and Jameson's, I'm like a junkie for the Jamesons.
Yes.
But after doing all the bourbons, the Irish whiskeys are just a little lighter.
Typically, yeah. And this is whiskey with
for
an
me.
EY. So
It is. All right, we ready to dive? We ready to dive in?
So
on-
proper 12. Conor McGregor's, whiskey. So cheers, Obi-Wan.
Hey.
That's actually really light. As far as a whiskey goes, that's really light.
Yeah. No, but no, I wouldn't necessarily say light.
For me, it's light.
I-
After
I-
what
it's
else I've tried, but
Smooth, because there is a thickness. There's a thickness to it. I can feel the oil coating and covering as it goes past.
okay.
But it's smooth. It's very buttery aftertaste.
Very.
Are you getting buttery afterwards?
I'm getting a lot of butter aftertaste.
Yeah.
At the initial onset, I say it was light, but I still got that vanilla feel because that's kind of where it sits, is in that vanilla honey feel.
Yep.
But I got that immediately because that's where my palate lies.
And again, we don't know
Jack.
beans upon beans. We just make crap up and say things that we've heard before. No,
Because I've said vanilla and honey plenty of times on this.
Yeah. No, I just
One thing that I'm not getting.
I like.
Yeah, I do like it.
The
actually,
smell is still very nice.
Yeah, I do like it. It's got a very smooth feel to it. After your second, third sip, it actually gets a bit smoother. For me. And so it's not very harsh to begin with. It just becomes more smooth.
Yeah, it's like butter and vanilla now, just kind of hanging in there.
Yeah. And everyone's palate is different. We are doing this neat. I could actually throw a couple of ice cubes in this and enjoy it for a longer period of time. Personally.
No, you couldn't, because I'm keeping the bottle.
Well, I'm not going to take it, but I'm just saying.
Go get your own, damn it.
I'll go and do it. Fine.
Go get your own.
So, no, this is actually, I'm actually surprised by this, because I thought it was just going to be one of those brands, those fly-by-night pieces.
Yeah.
Someone trying to make a name, on his name and, being a part of it.
Right.
And that's part of the, marketing.
I love the
of it,
label.
but-
I love the label. It's a big tiger with a crown and then some Celtic knotting across the side.
Yep.
A nice emerald green bottle.
It's
And,
not Heineken, so.
Yeah, no, it's deeper. It's a deeper emerald
Rolling
than
Rock.
a Heineken or a Rolling Rock for sure, and it's embossed. It's smooth is fast.
Smooth, just like
Is-
Conor McGregor.
Is smooth and fast.
Yes.
So rich and smooth is what it says on the label, and yes, properly balanced. Yes, I would agree with both of those statements.
Yes.
Triple distilled. Because our friends at Zim's, right?
Yeah.
When you get to the vodkas and
Yeah.
you talk about the
they
distilling,
do it one time.
if you do it right.
If
You
they,
only got to
and
do it once.
that is
right?
that is the premise behind Zim's. They do it right the first time.
That's it. And then, but then, it's 17 times distilled. It's like, it took you that freaking long to get it right. So the triple distilled, I don't know what that means, but
Well, the blend of the proper 12, it's actually comprised of both single malts and single grains.
So it's a
often-
blend.
Yeah, it's a blend. So often from many different distilleries.
Sure.
So that's where the blend is.
well, that's where your master distiller comes into play, because they have their palate, and they've trained and they can recreate that taste by using, it needs more of this, it needs more of that. We mentioned we were doing an infinity bottle.
Yeah.
And how the profile changes when you add something new to it, right?
And when you do an infinity bottle, how much of each whiskey and or bourbon are you adding to that infinity bottle? Because that's going to change the complexity of that taste immediately.
Yep. So it's interesting. We'll talk about infinity
Yeah.
bottles and play. We'll do an infinity bottle because the bottle's almost full. So I'll have to do an infinity bottle tasting. I do believe the proper 12 will head in there.
Sure.
We'll head into the infinity bottle. I don't think I'm going to put because we did another episode with tequila. I don't think I'll put the tequila in there.
Okay.
I won't mess. I won't.
No,
I won't
don't do
go
the
out of the
tequila.
family. I'll stay
No,
in the
please,
whiskey family.
If you're gonna do an infinity bottle, stay within the same realm of
Yes.
alcohol. Yes.
Yes.
But you had mentioned fruity earlier, so you mentioned kumquat. Did you get pear out of that?
I said peach, but all right. I don't eat pears.
Okay.
I'm like I'm an apple and oranges guy.
Okay.
When I'm eating fruit, apple, orange, and pineapple are like my go-tos.
Okay.
Anything in the orange family, the tangerine, the tangelos,
Right.
Whatever, the things with the smiley faces, the cuties.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat a cutie.
Or peach.
Stop. All right. So, but no, I don't eat peaches. I don't eat pears.
Okay.
Plums.
See, something that
cherries very infrequently.
I actually started buying different types of fruits
Okay.
just to expand my palate, so I
Right.
could potentially train my palate for different tastes out of whiskeys and bourbons itself.
I was listening to another podcast talking about training your palate. What was it? It was either the Whiskey Cast or Fred Minnick talking on something.
Was it Bourbon Pursuit?
That Fred does it on the Bourbon Pursuit. So it was either Fred in his bit or the Whiskey Cast, one of the two. But they were talking about that, and they were talking about how you train your palate. And they said, go to the grocery store and smell everything. I tried that, and then, the cashier slapped me. So you smell like flowers. Smack. All right. Well,
This is
I guess,
definitely the second show.
well, I'm snorting at my own jokes. You know,
There
it's
you
the
go.
second show. But yeah, so. But no. But he recommended it. Just smell everything. Go in. It just and you learn those aromas, right, and learn those smells, and,
Right.
Taste. When you have an opportunity to taste something, taste it, and deliberately, and try to remember those. Yeah.
Every once in a while we'll do a cigar pairing as well.
Yes.
Curious to know what a good cigar might pair with this.
Yeah.
No, it would have to be a lighter cigar. It cannot be a darker cigar.
Yes.
A darker wrapper. It would have to be a lighter wrapper, just because of where this lands as far as the taste notes go. So, I'm curious to know what type of cigar would actually pair well with this itself.
No, I would like to. Do a cigar with a tequila. That's why I wanted to do the tequila one earlier. I kind of really half wanted to do it at Ambassador.
Yeah.
To have Nathan guide us with a cigar to go along with it.
Right.
But I figure we got those other guests and stuff.
Yeah,
maybe
we're
we'll
good.
do that next time. Well, maybe we'll get those guys back on
Yeah.
and have them recommend a tequila, and we'll go do it, and then have Nathan pick us a cigar. So
Fair
we'll
enough.
have like everybody contributing to our shenanigans for the night.
Yeah, but this is a.
I would really enjoy doing a cigar.
Yeah.
Just out here on the deck.
Yeah, it's kind of the lighting is not as good as it used to be. It's because that twilight's gone.
You gotta
there
turn
you
the
go.
laptop and get more light on Matthew.
No, very good. But this is something you married this.
Oh yeah,
what?
yeah, and I'm glad I brought it home. Once again, I'm glad I brought this one home.
Yeah.
I would do it again when this runs out.
Going another one.
I would probably bring another one home.
Replenish the stock.
I would replenish.
Fair
It's
enough.
fun to have the celebrity ones, right? It's fun to have it on the shelf. I guess that's kind of the shtick, right? But I would do it. I would do it for that.
Dwayne Johnson has his own tequila too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got his own version of tequila.
Ah.
So the celebrity, the endorsement piece,
Sure.
they're out to make a couple of bucks, and I don't blame them for it at all.
No.
But you know what? Give it a shot. If you something that you want to try. This is actually pretty good.
Yep.
In all honesty, as far as an Irish whiskey goes, it's on the lighter side, so it's something that you might want to just consider.
Mm-hmm.
You can make this and for start the evening. You don't want to finish the evening. We want to start the evening with it because there's a lot of other things out there that you can finish with.
Yeah.
But this is a good starter. So at 80 proof, do it.
Yeah.
In all honesty. So
All right.
yeah, there you go.
There we go. Man Cave Happy Hour, mancavehappyhour.com. And you know who we knew? We had August. We should have. Yeah.
Well, August is always a proponent of what we do.
We gotta have August on to
I will
talk
see
about an event you have coming up.
Yes. That's coming up in the 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah, next Friday. Not this Friday.
Yeah, it's coming up. There's at the Whiskey in the Jar, Hamtramck.
Yes.
A big Magnum.
It's the Magnum 7th
Magnum
year.
7, yep.
It's a Magnum PI.
Raising money for charities. Whiskey in the
Yes.
Jar, Hamtramck.
Yes.
Regardless of when this airs, Whiskey in the Jar, Hamtramck. If you're in the Metro Detroit area or visiting the Metro Detroit area, it is definitely a thing to put on your agenda. It is a hole in the wall. It's a small.
It's a beautiful
tiny,
hole in the wall. Yes.
Beautifully nasty, wonderful, dirty, filthy, fun place.
Great.
And I did the event last year with GNIP. You're doing the event this year with GNIP.
Yes.
It's a riot, and it raised money for a good cause. And August wanted to talk about it, so we just talked about it.
Yep.
Magnum 7 at the Whiskey in the Jar. And they do a few fundraisers throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
So always, if you're in the Metro Detroit area, keep your eye on the Whiskey in the Jar. Follow them on the face space.
Yes.
And then find out when they're doing their good work, because they do excellent work. And the money stays local, either in Detroit or in Hamtramck itself.
Very community based.
Yeah, very community oriented. So Matt, cheers to you for helping out with that.
Pleasure.
In my absence. And
you're
it's
still going to be there, right?
I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not. I did number 6. I feel in my absence, I did 1. Number 6.
No,
I'm this big magnanimous.
No,
I'm in charge of that.
Working with these guys, seeing what the work that goes into this event. They're very passionate, and to be able to contribute and give back as much as they do, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It always is. Always is.
So I hope that the music will be fun.
Oh.
I know it's going to be fun
with
because
Greg.
you got GNIP with you,
GNIP
right?
from 93.9 The River. He's
Yeah.
he's just he's always
And
always on the goof. See Matt. He's marrying it. He's going back for a second.
Well, you're home. I'm not. So
Yeah. Hey, I'm just all right. So there we go. ManCaveHappyHour.com. And Man Cave Happy Hour on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Wearingfunny.com.
Wearingfunny.com. You get a Man Cave Happy Hour t-shirt.
Yeah.
And like, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps. We really appreciate it that you do those things, and then following along. And if you ever want to play, if you want to invite us over from the Metro Detroit, we will come to your place or your house and do this there.
Yes.
Let us know.
Honestly, have podcasts will travel.
That is it. We can plug this crap in anywhere, apparently. So there you are. So, Matt, I think it'll do it.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jamie.
Cheers.